Hi, today we are going to look at reading matching headings. This is a question type that students often find very difficult. Matching headings requires you to sum up the paragraphs and assign headings to each paragraph. You have to select headings from a list of given headings. Sometimes you will be asked to sum up the entire text. Before we understand how to solve these question types, let us look at some of the do's and don'ts. Number 1, read the instructions carefully. This is extremely important. You may think that you know the instructions or that you're familiar with this question type, but it is important that you understand whether you have to match the headings for each of the paragraphs or select only some paragraphs, or whether you need to select the heading for the entire text. This is something you will understand only if you read the instructions. Number 2, once you've read the instructions, make sure you know which paragraphs require the heading. As I mentioned earlier, not every paragraph may require you to select a heading for. Next, read the paragraphs and sum it up in your own words. This will help you get a better understanding of the paragraph. Number 4, search the list of headings and then try to select the best answer. How do you do this? Well, use the process of elimination to remove the obviously wrong headings. Not every heading would match the paragraph that you've just read, so try to shortlist the best fit. Number 5, make sure that the heading that you've selected summarizes the whole paragraph and not just a portion of it, or that it is not too general in scope. What I mean is, sometimes the headings would be too wide in scope and may cover points that were not written in the paragraphs, and sometimes it may be too narrow in scope and may cover only one specific point that was covered as a part of the paragraph. Next, if a match is not obvious, then move on. Read the next paragraph. A common mistake made by many students is that they get stuck in one paragraph and then they end up wasting time. This in turn will add time pressure. Do not spend more than 1 minute in a particular paragraph. If you cannot find the heading, move on to the next paragraph and come back to this one later. If you are unsure about a particular answer and are confused between two of them, then put both of them in. You can come back to it later and eliminate the one that is obviously wrong. In the end, if you are still stuck with two answers and do not know which one to select, select the one that fits best. The one that is not too narrow in scope and not too generic either. If you are not able to determine which is which, then read the paragraph once again, read the headings and select the heading which best paraphrases the paragraph. You can do this by identifying synonyms. That being said, watch out for synonyms. The paragraphs and the headings may not always have the same exact words. They may use synonyms. Sometimes the synonyms may not cover the whole meaning. It may be used to confuse you. Make sure that you understand and comprehend the paragraph and then select the heading which best summarizes this. It is important that you match the heading based on the meaning and not just on the words. Another thing you should keep in mind is that often there are going to be more headings than there are paragraphs. That means there are more than one heading for a paragraph to choose from. Having a word in the paragraph from the heading does not guarantee that the heading fits. As I said, often it may be a paraphrase, and you should not get confused. Always check for meaning. Now, let us understand better how to solve a question by looking at some examples. Here is a passage that you can read called Yoruba Town. Read paragraphs A, B, and C carefully. Now that you've read the paragraph, look at the list of headings. In order to match the headings with the paragraphs, let's look at the paragraphs one at a time. The first answer is number 5, because it mainly describes the two types of settlements, that is, permanent and temporary, known as Ilu and Abba. Let's come to paragraph B. The answer is 6. As you can see, the word foundations is in the first sentence. But this does not automatically make 6 the correct answer. It is a good reason to flag this up as a possibility. The heading also refers to history, so the reference to 19th century in the sentence tells us the paragraph is about history. A quick skim of the paragraph confirms this. Coming to paragraph C, the answer is number 9. The sentence mentions the palaces, which is where the rulers lived. It is their residences and the heading mentions it, so it is likely to be number 9. Reading the rest of the paragraph confirms that the whole paragraph talks generally about the palaces in Yoruba. It tells us that they were large and consisted of courtyards and 2-story houses. Don't be tricked by colonization or government building headings. This only refers to minor ideas in the paragraph, not the entire paragraph. It is therefore a supporting point rather than the main idea. Now that you have a better idea of solving matching heading questions, so continue practicing and perfecting yourself. Good luck.